Yeah. I think we transitioned without any problems. Welcome. Welcome to the Build Show, the Tuesday evening Build Show. I'm your host, Ben Estrino, over here at the Empower Gaming Studio. And today, you guessed it, we're going to build another PC. Oh, listen to that. Wow. Sounds like we got a crowd tonight. All right, guys. So this is a build I'm actually super excited to do because we've been anticipating this build for the last few days here, waiting for the parts to arrive, everything's showing up, and then finally now getting to do the build stream. Let's go ahead and jump over to the build table, and we're gonna get a good look at our parts, or run through all of them. You know, we'll start with that. We'll transition the music. Maybe. There we go. And we'll run through all the parts. Play. That way we're not bleeding anybody's ears out in the transition. When we transition from one scene to another, I had to play around with that for a little bit before we got started here, so I apologize. But it is what it is. Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Build Show. Let's get started. So this build is for chance. Yeah? So if there's a chance out there that's viewing this stream right now, make yourself known. Feel free to drop any question you have in the chat as we are building. And, you know, I'll definitely answer any of those questions. But to get started, let's go through and run... oh, is that cable extensions? Yes, Tat Tuna. We have cable extensions today, but they are not gold. This time they are black and gray. Black and gray. All right, so we're going to run through the build list here, and we'll get started on the build itself. Starting with the CPU, we have the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X 3D, which has got the 12 cores, 24 threads, and a maximum boost of 5.5 gigahertz. That's this boy right here. Here, let me duck so you can see it. Hey, what's up, Army Vet, over on the Twitch? Good evening, sir. Welcome back to the Build Show. Box of Shame. I do not need to go in the box of shame because we are not doing gold extensions on this one. We're going with the theme, which is black. Trying to. So that is our CPU. We also have a Thermalright contact frame, just like we always do now for our AM5 CPUs, just to keep it nice and clean and tidy with the thermal paste. Keep it out of those edges of the CPU, which I'll show you what I'm talking about when we drop that into the socket here. The paste that we're going to be using is the Arctic M6, which is included with the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 in black, but it is the addressable RGB version, which means it has 3 120mm PWM ARGB fans on the radiator itself. What happened to my music? Oh, there it is. As well as some RGB on the block. So it's got some RGB built into the cooler itself. It's an AIO, it's a liquid cooler. So we'll be liquid cooling the CPU using the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3, which, by the way, is one of the best CPU coolers you can run on the AM5 socket because it has the offset mounting to center up on the hot spot of the Ryzen CPU. So this is a great cooler. Quality part, in my opinion. The Gigabyte X670 Aorus Elite AX over here. That is going to be our motherboard for this evening. It's a great board. It's actually one of the leading boards. If you go and look up a couple of videos, there's I can't remember his name right now, but he did a really good list of reviews on X670 and B650 motherboards, and this is one of the few that were at the top. So this is a great board. I always recommend this, especially for higher end builds. We're going to be powering this entire system with a 1000 watt power supply. We didn't touch on the RAM either, but I will touch on that. The 64 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 megahertz CL30 for the timing, and it's going to be in dual channel. It's a G.Skill, was supposed to be the G.Skill Flare X, but we ended up with the Trident Z5 Neo RGB. So I don't know where I had messed up here. Is this the right build? Yeah. This is definitely the right build. I'm just second guessing myself because I missed one component. So we were supposed to have the Flare X, but I got him the Trident Z5 Neo. I don't know why I messed that up. Hopefully I got the right amount too. Yeah, it's 32 times 2. So it's 64 gigs. So it's the right amount. I don't know. Maybe I just found a better deal. Had to move to mobile Twitch. Stream keeps crashing on my PC for you. Oh, that's kind of weird. Maybe it's internet thing or a browser thing. Maybe take a look at that. Yeah, don't even start, Tat to tuna. All right, so outside of that, we have the graphics card, which is down here below me. We have an RTX 4080 Super that we're going to be building with tonight, and this is the Gigabyte Windforce V2. It's got 16 gigabytes of GDDR6X, 256-bit PCI 4.0, and it's going to be, it's a 3-fan card, so it's really cool. It stays nice and cool. Outside of that, we're going to be building in the Montech 95 Pro in black, and then we have some cable extensions to flare up the build a little bit. I mean, for the price of the cable extensions, there's no reason not to. Grab your popcorn and your favorite drink, and let's watch the greatest technician that ever lived. Well, I'm not technically the greatest technician that ever lived. Maybe in the state of Michigan, but not ever lived as of yet. I haven't proved that. But has anybody heard about the new stuff that NVIDIA pulled with the RTX 4070? Have you guys heard that yet? And for anybody that's out there shopping for an RTX 4070, well, you're in Michigan too. Yeah, Army Vet's here too, so you can't say that, Tat. Tat's over on YouTube talking shit. And Army Vet is over here on Twitch responding. But the, so yeah, NVIDIA, RTX 4070s. They tried to slide a fast one, and they do this all the time. They'll start out with a great card, and then they'll create a second version of it and slide it under the rug, slide it out with no media. Nobody knows it's happening. They released an RTX 4070 without the GDDR6X memory, which means it is going to lose a little bit of performance. And I really don't like how NVIDIA does that, because for me, when I'm going through buying parts, I'm just trying to click through and get the parts, get the card, go. If I accidentally click on one and I don't realize that it's not the X, now I have to look for this every time I buy an RTX 4070, is to see if it's GDDR6X or GDDR6. And they're doing that because I guess there's a supply issue. So I understand why they're doing it. I just don't like how they secretly roll it out. Montech 95 Pro is still the best case for the money. Yes, I 100% agree with that. I love the case. It's a great case to build in. But anyway, for anybody that's looking at RTX 4070s out there right now, definitely keep an eye on which one you are buying. And I would recommend targeting the GDDR6X version over the non-X, because you'll get a little bit more performance out of it. Anyway, and then outside of that, it looks like we're looking at the X3D processors for the 9000 lineup to be released here in the next, I don't know, what is it, like 2 or 3 months? It's like January, the beginning of 2025 is what it looked like. Looked like that's when it was going to be released. So just keep a lookout for that if you're waiting on one of those. And also, I wouldn't buy one until you see the benchmarks comparison from the 7000 series, because right now the 7000 series is the better value when it comes to price to performance, or price per dollar, or performance per dollar. That's the right terminology I'm looking for. I gotta turn this down. So, that being said, you know, keep a lookout. They'll be coming out here soon. A couple more months, or a few more months. At least that's what I heard. Twitch hates you on my PC. Tried both Opera GX and Edge. Both streams crashed within 20 seconds or so. Well, that's kind of weird. Tat Tuna. But have you ever put gold cable extensions in a PC before? Army Vet. I don't think Army Vet has. He's seen it though. He's seen it here. He pretty much lurks on every. He's here for every stream. But anyway, enough with the news updates. Let's go ahead and jump into the build. We got to get this build done. Y'all ready for this? Twitch keeps saying your browser encountered an error while decoding the video. Error number 3000. Huh. You guys think I should restart the stream? Yeah, Army Vet Tattoo Tuna is also saying he's having an issue, so I don't think it's your PC. Let me look at this for a second. Hold on. Yeah, everything looks pretty good over here on my end as well. I mean, the bitrate's fine. That would be the only thing that I would think Twitch would complain about. But it's, I think at 4,000 or 3,500 is what Twitch is receiving anyway. And then, yeah, everything else looks fine. Twitch itself looks fine. I'm muted. I'm not muted. Okay, it's working now? What? What is going on? Mic is fine? Are you guys just fucking with me? Excuse my French. Are you guys screwing with me? Had a download error. Huh. I don't know. That's weird. Are we good then? We're good. I feel like somebody's screwing with me. Hello, this is Ant-Man TV. Is there a difference between the 5700 and the 5800 X3D? Yes. Yes, there is. It's working. Oh, thank you. Thank you. DJ. Ant-Man. Something strange is happening. I'm going to just close off Twitch and stick with YouTube. No problem, Tat. I don't blame you. They all must be using random pre-builds from Best Buy. Actually, I think Army Vet built his. Or at least upgraded. I know he upgraded not too long ago. And I think Tat built his too. Mine's a custom built. I built myself. Yeah. So yeah, Army Vet built his. I couldn't remember if you. I know for sure you upgraded. I can't remember if you built the whole thing though, or couldn't remember. Now I know for sure. Working on YouTube. Yes, Dan. I know it's. It looks like we're having some Twitch issues. but I don't think it's on my end. I think it's on Twitch's end. So there must be something big going on Twitch. Maybe their bandwidth is being used. Just saying, you wouldn't have that kind of problem with an Empower Gaming PC. Thanks, some giant idiot, for the words of wisdom over there on Twitch. Chance is watching. Thank you. I'm sorry about using that word that I used earlier. Sometimes it slips here. All right, we're gonna get back to the build. Hopefully Twitch sorts itself out. And Army Vet, if you want to join over on YouTube, we are over there as well. So you can join everybody else that's over there as well. And maybe Twitch will figure itself out. I don't know what else to do at this point. We're going to get started with our motherboard. You have the MSI Pro B550. Right. And I know you got that 360mm AIO by Thermal, right? And I think you had a weird fan issue with it, right? And you got that Montech, you got the Montech 903 Max, I think is what you grabbed for the upgrade. That was to get some better cooling. Swap that out. Yep. I remember. Tunas can build PCs. Yeah, that's what I'm asking, you know? Hey, what's up, Flux? How's it going? Minus the gold cables. Yeah, Tat, you're sitting here pushing me. You're pushing gold cables on everybody else's build, and your PC does not have gold cables. The PC you're using is, my cousin bought it from Walmart, and you upgraded it. He ended up building himself a PC. Nice. So that's the PC you ended up with, is the one he got before? With one fin behind the back. Hey, I could build blindfolded, guys. I've already proved it on the stream. It's Dawson. Hey, Dawson, how's it going? What can I say? I like backseat. Backseat building is not cool. Not cool. No, it's cool. I don't care. You guys can backseat build anytime you want here. Let's go ahead and let's get zoomed in. I might have to move myself to this side. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm too much in the way here. I played around with it, and I thought I would like it better over there. But I think I'm better off over here. No, don't move that. There. Okay. That's better, I think. Oh, it's going. Nice. Is there a difference between the 5700 and the 5800X 3D? So, Ant-Man, specifically, is it the 5700X 3D versus the 5800X 3D? Because, yes, there is a little bit of performance difference between the two. Core count and thread count, I think, is exactly the same. The actual clock speeds are a little bit different, but the 5800X 3D will better the 5700X 3D. Definitely. Especially when it comes to gaming. But, I mean, they're close. Close enough to me where I was like, eh. Yeah, I'd go with the 5800X 3D if you can. If you can muster the extra cash, go with the 5800X 3D. You will not go wrong. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our Ryzen 9 7900X 3D installed. There it is. Let's get that dropped into the socket very nicely. Where'd my Misplaced it. Just way to grab another cutter. I don't know, it's somewhere in here buried. You don't have PC building tag on Twitch. I don't? Enhance? What? It should be. PC building should be tagged in there. What do I have? Out of curiosity. What do you see? What do your giant idiot eyes see? So this is what I was talking about. These little crevices on the CPU, if you put paste on here, generally it will get squished to the side and then get into these crevices, and it's a real pain to clean. The contact frame actually really helps with that. So we always put that's one of the main reasons why I use the contact frame a lot with the AM5. Just way cleaner. If you ever have to remove the processor, that is. Alright, and now that we've got the CPU in the socket, we're going to go ahead and remove this LGA stock bracket, and we're going to replace it with the Thermalright contact frame for AM5. And the reason why I dropped the CPU in there first, before I did this, is number one, you need the CPU in there. Number two, the CPU is actually protecting the pins as I work around the pins on the motherboard. If you saw earlier when I first opened it up and before I dropped the CPU in, you would have seen a million little teeny tiny pins there that would have been very easily damaged if I accidentally bumped one of them. So it's important not to do that. I have custom build PC, custom PC building, custom PC, gaming PC building, gaming PC builder, live PC build PC, English. Why do I have English? We are doing this in German. Das sprechen Sie Deutsch, ja? Das ist gut, ja. No PC building that the normies use. Okay, well, I will have to add that. How do I add that? I'll have to go look. 1 second. Let me go add that real quick. And it looks like we're behind on zoom in. Did I zoom in? Is that enough zoom in? I'm guessing you know which Dawson element. Yes, yes, I know. One we just were talking to. Let's see here. Well, they will ask the questions. We will ask the questions, yeah? We will ask the questions. Zoom in more. We want to taste the transistor. Okay. Giant Idiot wants us to zoom in more. You guys want to see how far we can go with this? It's a 20x. We can read the serial number off the CPU with this thing. In case anybody needs one. Oh, that sucks. There we have a beautiful CPU. I will touch it. No, okay. We're done messing around. Let's zoom back out a little bit. Ah, I can smell the new PC smells from here. Yes. Yeah, X3D. Also, going back to Ant-Man's question, also if I have a 65-inch 4K TV, do I need a new gaming monitor? It just depends on what you want to do with it. I mean, if you're looking for super fast response time, high FPS gaming, then you might want to consider a better gaming monitor that's going to deliver better response time. Because the 4K, 65-inch 4K TV is probably going to have a slow response time, and probably going to be anywhere from 30 to 60 hertz. Somewhere in that neighborhood, I would assume. You've been seeing thermal pads for CPUs. What do I think about those? So, you know what, Tat? I don't know. I've tried them. I personally don't care for them that much. I know they're cleaner. They're supposed to technically last longer, but I don't think they... I don't know. It's just weird. For me, as a builder that came from a different era, it's just weird to me. If it becomes, you know, known, or if there's enough facts that back it up that say it's 1,000 times better than thermal paste, then I will for sure switch over to thermal pads. But I don't like them personally. Yeah, same here. Some giant idiot. I'm not a big fan of them yet, but there would have to be some major data that says thermal pads are 100% better. And then I would have to hear, like, Steve himself, the Tech Jesus, come out and say thermal pads are better than thermal paste before I'm confident enough to say I like thermal pads. And even then, I kind of feel weird saying that. I know what one's better than thermal paste. Leaving the plastic sticker on. No, that's terrible. Don't do that. We'll cover that here in a little bit when we get to the cooler. But what Tattuna is mentioning is that I've had a couple of customers actually come back in, and not builds that I've built, or come in, at least I should have said, but they came in because they forgot to peel the peel, and they were trying to figure out why their PC was overheating, or why their CPU was overheating. Turns out they forgot to peel the peel underneath the heatsink before they put it on, and so their CPU thermal paste wasn't working very well. Alright, so this is the 64 gigs of DDR5, 6000 megahertz CL32. This is the G.Skill Trident Z5 Neo RGB. So there's two sticks of 32. We're going to put it in A2 slots, A2 and B2. And specifically with DDR5, you really only want to use these two slots. If you use the additional two as well as these two, all four, fill it out, you will run into some stability issues. Now, that's just a general known problem with DDR5 and the support behind the CPU and the motherboard, etc. It just doesn't work, so don't do it. The only time it's applicable and working is on the newer Threadripper series, but you're spending like, I don't know, $4,000 on a CPU. Just the CPU. And then probably another $3,000 on memory, depending on what memory you get, because you need the super crazy ECC memory, which is extremely expensive. The other day we had somebody send in a build request for a Threadripper build. And here's the SSD. It is a 4 terabyte. If I mistakenly said that earlier, I apologize if I said 2 terabyte. It is a 4 terabyte NVMe SSD. It's the MP44 Team Group SSD. No, it is not a German. It is not the German's machine gun. It's the MP44 or STG. Why do I feel like I'm missing half my tools? We're installing the M.2 NVMe SSD into the PCIe slot here. Sorry, it wasn't really centered up there as I was working on it or doing the install. And we got that installed, so now we've got our CPU installed, our contact frame installed, our RAM installed, and our SSD. So our storage, RAM, CPU, ready to go. Now we're going to look at the mounting stuff for the AIO. You should be able to get monetized on YouTube. Yeah, I know. I should be able to. There's one problem. Where do I gotta go? This way. One issue with my monetization on YouTube. It is the number of views I have on non-live videos. So live videos do not count towards becoming monetized. And I'd say 99% of my content is live content. So I have to create shorts. I have to create more like tech help videos and things that'll get views on the channel in order to get my views up from like the 2,000 it is right now, 2,000 hours watched, to I think I need 3,000 to become fully monetized on YouTube. And all I need is probably 2 really good videos on there and it would do it. I just have not had enough time to do it. I just don't have enough time. You know, when I'm doing all these builds and I'm servicing people's computers, I just haven't had the time. So I either gotta reburn or burn more midnight oil and just burn the candle at both ends, go all in, get the YouTube channel monetized, and then hopefully take off from there. I don't know. Not that I'm trying to like just take off. I'm just doing what I do for now. I'll probably, you know, put more work into it on the... So this was actually the expectation of this summer. This summer, I was expecting to have more time to work on the channel. Because it's usually slower in the summer. But this summer has been the complete opposite. It has been so busy that it kind of feels like I'm in the middle of December, honestly. I have a lot of service requests right now, and on top of, you know, there's a lot of builds. So there's a lot going on. It's not just the PCs that we're building here. So, you know, this year I was planning on working more on the YouTube channel during the summer when it was our quote-unquote slow season, but didn't end up being that, so. Jeez, what's this guy doing? Making his own Cybertruck? I don't know. Hey, Chance, what are you guys doing with the PC? You want to tell them in the chat? Hey, Flux, my PC will give you a great troubleshoot build. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm still working on that one. I haven't gotten an answer yet, so that's where we're at. But have the last 2 builds gone smoothly? Oh yeah, yeah, everything's gone smooth. Like clockwork. So no problems since that weird fiasco week. And basically your PC has been the caboose of that weirdness, Dawson. Good evening, Dad Bods and Drop Shots over there on the Twitch. Welcome to the build show, sir. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at with the YouTube channel. Is I'm working on it. I just need some more downtime to really put in the hours that it needs. And I don't want to just put crap on the channel. I want to make sure it's quality, just like every build I do. You know, I'm not into the crap, you know, just pump it out and hope it's good enough. I'd rather, you know, be happy with it, be proud of it. So I want, you know, good, clean content out there. And there's some stuff that I still need to go back and fix. my PC will give you a great troubleshoot build. I will probably, Dawson, I will probably ask if I can make a video on it, just to kind of run through all the things that we did, because it is a mind-blowing problem, and I do want to try to share that on the channel. So if anybody else runs across an issue like this, they at least, hopefully, maybe could save some time and take a look at the problem that we end up finding in the end, which I still think it's the motherboard. I did plug a power supply into it, and it was still acting weird, but I need to run it longer in order for me to say yes, it's still acting weird. But that was earlier today, and I didn't get enough time on it on the bench with it. Good evening. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Liquid Freezer 3, which we're going to be dropping in here. This is one of the best AIOs that you can buy for AMD AM5, and the reason why is because it has the offset mounting. The offset mounting will center up the cooler on the hot spot of the CPU, which is typically on AM5. It's down here towards the bottom. Such a beautiful build with prop. I know. We'll get it straightened out. In the end, it will be a fully functional build. You know, it just pains me to know I didn't build it. But it sounds like I'll be rebuilding it. And if anybody's interested in that video, just hang out, subscribe, make sure you follow, and you'll be able to catch the troubleshooting video I'll record. I'll record probably a video and do some editing to it, and then I'll upload it, or I'll go live. Who knows? But I should make it a video so I can get my view count up, my view hours, should I say, up, which are that's what YouTube wants. You need more view hours. Have you looked at my live? My live stats completely blow any of my other stats out of the water. Makes my head hurt. Yes. I actually had to start taking Advil daily since your PC showed up. I think I'm at like 600 milligrams daily now. I'm joking. But it would be funny if that was real. Alright, so we have an AMD AM5 kit that we have to install. These are our little bracket pieces or studs that we're going to be using. And then we have the actual bracket. Not bracket. So we're going to remove the stock brackets here from the motherboard, and then we'll add the new ones. You, sir, are more than welcome to rebuild it. I'm sure you're welcoming me to do that. The problem is I don't think a rebuild would solve anything. Kind of the process that we're doing right now, the process of elimination, is what I'm going to keep on doing until we, you know, remove the issue. The process of elimination. That is a well-known troubleshooting tactic, and at this point, when you don't know the answer from your gut, which I had followed my gut to where I'm at right now, you know, you just have to thoroughly go through the process of elimination. We've eliminated everything except for like 2 main components at this point, so but yeah, I should try to start maybe a troubleshooting series. And then if the channel gets big enough, I could offer free service for fixing your computer. But the what I have you know, content to use that. You know, content gets developed from it, so that would be the trade-off. I'd be down for something like that. Alright, so our mounting brackets for our AIO is installed. That's good to go. All right. So I guess next we could get the case out. So let's go ahead and get that done. Get that out. Oh gosh. She's a heavy one. Case is pretty heavy. You always forget how big these things are until you get it on the screen and you're like, oh, yeah, this thing's big. But here we go. This is the Montech King 95 Pro. Or is it the Montech 95 King Pro? One thumb screw on the back, just to release the panel, and then it lifts off. The front panel is also removable, which I'm going to just push out. That is toolless. Be careful. You can very easily pop that out and drop it and shatter it. We're going to remove the top panel as well, which is also toolless. It's got a nice mesh filter. Very nice. And then the rear panel is the only other panel that has a screw. So the the glass panel and the rear panel. And it's on there pretty good. So there's one thumb screw at the top, and then it pulls away and lifts up. Very good. And the last thing that I'm going to do is get rid of this back panel here. There are two screws. There's one at the bottom, one at the top, and that'll allow it to swing out. This is more like a door than anything. Once I have this swinging like a door, I can actually unhinge it. So you lift up, and then I can unhinge it and remove it. There we go. And now that exposes all the area where we're going to be working with all the cables and whatnot. Now that that's all exposed, we could jump in here and drop our motherboard in already. We're ready to go. We'll have to get our hardware kit as well. I'm just checking for any additional peels that may have existed that I missed. Also double check that the studs are all there in the right places, which they are. And there we go. We have a motherboard not yet mounted, but in the case. Now we're talking, Flex. Some gold cables. I thought you were all about the white aesthetics. This man is... Hey guys, don't let Dawson Flex steer you wrong. You want to offer free IT support? Thanks, some giant idiot. Thanks. You're laughing at me. I know. All right, so don't let Flux fool you about the gold cables. The cables aren't the problem, but he is very adamant about having white aesthetics. So if he says gold cables, I might just do that just to screw with him, because we must have a white motherboard. Absolutely must. And now we're allowed to do gold cables. I'm starting to get confused here. Hey. If they seem all white build, they'd understand. Yes, they would. It's actually right here next to me. But I'm sure like chasing a vacuum leak on Crown Vic. Yes, it's been a headache, 100%. You won't know balls. I will. The only reason why it may not happen is because, you know, Dawson's sitting over here waiting for his PC, and I'm trying to get it done, and if I don't order it like yesterday, it ain't gonna get here in time before I'm done with it. Now diamond cables, now diamond cables, we could do that. That's actually a really good idea, yeah, man. Diamond cables would look pretty dope. Okay, so we needed the hardware kit out of the box accessories from the 95 Pro, King 95. And we need the motherboard mounting screws. So we're going to open that up. Nice and neat. Definitely got to have the white motherboard. Yes, no, I agree. I'm just trying to go with the best possible performer with the best possible known results. And none of them are white. So nobody puts baby in the in the corner. Hey, user Vert. Is that what it is? Is that your name, User Vert? Is a 5700 XT, a 2060, and a 1660 for $150. A good deal. All three of those combined, that's a pretty good deal. Because a 5700 XT sells for about $120 itself, used right now. 100 to 120 bucks. And in some models will actually sell up to 150, so it depends on the model. But the 2060 also, it's probably about a $100 card used on the market. 1660, it's probably like a $50-ish card now. I don't know. It's the lower end card now. It didn't age well. 2060 actually hasn't aged well either, unless it's the 8 gig version or the 12. Was it the 12 or the 8? I think it was this 2060 Super that was 8, and then they came out with a 12 gig version of it. Ben would have tell you that, LOL. What? Is all your screws white? Yes, they are all silver. So technically that would be the white screw. They're all silver. All of his screws are silver. No black screws in here. Make him put white mother screws in. No. They're all silver. Those are just fine. They blend really nicely. That doesn't count. You want me to put diamond cables in, but the silver screws aren't good enough. You are super picky. I think it's as white as you can get it. Yeah, I mean, it's a silver screw. You can get white screws. Those do exist, but you have to custom order those. They're probably not cheap. I don't even know what they cost. I don't think I've ever done that. The only screws that I've ordered that are custom was from Cable Mod, and that was the thumb screws for the side here. And that, because that adds flavor right there. I mean, that you could see that. It just adds some flavor. And then they were also external as well. So, was the thermal paste white? No, it was pink. So, because it was the thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Extreme originally that was on there, so it was like a pink. And then we ended up just dropping Thermalright TF7 on it after the fact, because we knew the CPU was going to be pulled again anyway. So, technically, no. Paste is not white. Yes. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I believe I have to say goodnight to a little miss. 1 second. Good night. Okay. All right, we're back. Was this PC on his videos? This PC has not been on the videos yet, no. I was going to try to do it back when I was troubleshooting, but it started getting a little out of hand. Like to the point where we would have been streaming for like, what? We were working on that for how long? Like 6, 7, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. It was a long time. Long stream. So definitely not going to be a video unless I prop it upside me, talk about it, and say that these are all the things we did, etc., etc. So I will probably do that. All right, what do I want to do now? Let's go ahead and put our extension cables in. Okay, and then we'll get our front panel stuff connected, and then we'll drop our AIO in. Yeah. Yeah. I miss that sound. I will say it was pretty. Yeah, I agree with you. It was it's a very pretty build. It will be a very beautiful build once we have it fully functioning without the micro stuttering and weird boot issues or post issues. Alright, so what I'm going to do is start combing up these cables here. don't know if anybody likes cable combing, but if you do, you're welcome to come here and cable comb for me. I try to find cables that are pre-cable combed, but apparently I suck at that because I thought these were pre-combed. These are by Asia Horse. The Asia Horse. Alright, 2 of 3 cable combs completed. Really only need 3 here. And hopefully those damn fans. I'm not worried about the fans. The fans are just going to be the last thing I'm worrying about. And watch that be the main problem for some reason. Somehow it happened. Causing everything. And then everybody's like, Ben, you're an idiot. Told you it was the fan the whole time. There we go. Some nice black on gray going on there. Nice and pretty looking. You can kind of see what the theme is, though. It's the black on gray. Pretty cool looking. Alright, now we just have 2 of these EPS cables. We really don't need to do anything super crazy for these. Because, well, they're pretty much going to be hidden by the AIO. But we're still going to comb them up because we do things right. We're definitely not going to comb 4 cables with a 3 cable comb. We're going to keep the logo upside right. So, with Asia Horse, they have a logo on them, on these cable combs. It's very easy to do it upside down, and I'm so picky about the aesthetics that I make sure the logo is facing the right way up. I don't know how many times I messed that up and had to go back and redo them because it bothered me. But you could technically, if you wanted to be lazy, get away with not cable combing these, because they're going to be pretty much hidden away by the AIO mostly. Once I get my funds in the bank from this surgery I had, this case is what I'm gonna go with. And yes, I will be doing gold cables. You know, you gotta send a picture of it in the Discord in order to prove that you went with gold cables. Gonna have to prove it. So tired of taking my PC case apart and dusting it out. Yeah, I know, me too. Mine's pretty bad. That's actually a video I'm supposed to be doing that I haven't done. is a how to clean your PC video. So I intentionally let mine go really bad. It's bad right now. It's really bad. And I keep saying, yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I'll get to it. I haven't gotten to it. But now my PC is just absolutely disgusting. At least that's the excuse I keep telling everybody. There we are. UPS cables installed. So now what we'll do is get our front panel connectors on there and our AIO connections that we need to get done or need to get plugged in. Because I don't really want to get these plugged in after the AIO's in there, because these are all right up here at the AIO. It's a pump. That is the pump. Is this one weird where the pump's at the bottom? Or the top? This one's got the pump in the weird spot. No pump header. So we're going to use CPU opt. Of them, what are we going to use for, yeah. I cannot believe there's no pump header. Mind blown. On an X670, there's no pump header. I remember running into this on this board before. Oh well. Alright, VRM's gonna have to go over here to System Fan 3. Gonna do some weird travel. There we are. And hopefully there's enough play in the cables to get where it needs to go. Which we will zip tie later, because I want to make sure the AIO is plugged in before I zip that up. All right. Front panel. Who remembers that sound? I remember it. So tired of taking my PC apart, just dust it out. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm the same. OCD is next level. Even how clean my PC is. There are parts that bother the crap out of me. Hey, what's up, Gary Smith? Welcome to the Build Show, sir. Welcome back. Do I use FitGrill? I don't know what that is. Like a fan grill? I just take the side panel off, hop in the car, do 80 years take while my son holds out the window. Works like a charm. Yeah, that I guess that could work. Definitely. You probably could make it work just doing like 40 or 50. Probably don't need to do 80. I don't think anybody could even hold that at 80 miles an hour. The weight would just take it away. I like the ASRock Taichi Carrera. Ichi Carrera. But man, that one's expensive. Yes. Yes, it is. Well, you didn't exactly give me a budget on the board, Dawson, so that was mistake number one. When you don't give your PC builder a budget. Of course, I'm not going to go spend money without telling you. What's our PWMs? We need that down there for the hub. Fancy hub. I think this guy's over here. And these two are definitely up here. Almost right. 3 here, C here. Okay. Yes. Alright, so now we've got all our front panel cables on this side of the case and get them all plugged in. I'm going to start with our USB-C. Get USB-C plugged in, and then USB 3.0, which is this wider one, 19 pins, I believe it is, off the top of my head. Comes from the side, plugs in to the side. And then we have our PWM fan header, which goes to the hub, which controls all the case fans itself. We need that going to, we're going to send that one to System Fan 1 down here at the bottom. And then we have our front panel power, LEDs, etc. Thankfully on the King Pro, everything's on a single connection, so it makes it super easy. Then we have an ARGB connection from the hub for all the case fans, and the RGB strip on the front of the case as well. And then last but not least is our HD audio, front panel HD audio. All right, I know my head was probably in the way for half of that, but just to recap, we have our USB-C cable here, our USB 3.0 here, our front panel power, and our case fan PWM synchronization cable here to the hub, and our ARGB to the hub synchronization cable, and then our front panel HD audio down here in the corner. So all of those case connections are completed. Next, well, we're ready for the AIO finally. The AIO. Message deleted. We don't do that here. Okay. Thank you, some giant idiot. LMAO wanted to see if they really ended up being the board. Yeah, I know. I will have an answer here, hopefully tomorrow, and we can finally have it completed. Crazy, no pump header. I know! That threw me for a loop. Like, every time I come across this on this board part specifically, and it doesn't have a pump header, it throws me off. And I don't get why there's no pump header. They're all system fans. There's System Fan 1, System Fan 2, System Fan 3, and then there's a CPU and a CPU optional, or OPT, OPT. I'm going to use a CPU OPT optional for our pump. And then the VRM fan is just going to go to System Fan 3, and all the rest of our case fans are on System Fan 1. That is how I designed this. It makes sense. I really couldn't get the VRM to like System Fan 1 or 2 because they're at the bottom of the board and the cable just wouldn't reach without an extension. And I don't want an extension on that, really. Would prefer not to have one there, if I can avoid it. I'm also concerned that this isn't going to reach because of the VRM fan. We might need an extension anyway. Okay, enough blibbery blabbing blue blah blah. Let's go ahead and get this installed. So I'm just going, you can take this tray out and then place it on here and get your AIO secured. But that would be the smart way of doing it. I'm going to take a shortcut and do it probably the more dumb way. Because the more dumb way is probably more entertaining, right? So what I'm going to do is hold the AIO, old school like, and then get it screwed in, started at least. Oh yeah, I remembered. We can't, this is another thing you can't do, and this is probably a good note for Tattoo Tuna. Do not use the AIO screws that come with the AIO, because they usually are super thin. These holes, slots are super wide, so you'll need the washer, which I have here on this screw. The problem is when you use the washer, the height of the screw is too high. So the case includes another bag of screws inside your hardware kit, and they are AIO screws, 12 of them. Use these instead. They're the same threads as the radiator threads, but they have a wider head and they're shorter. So they will make it so that your top can be installed. So if you use the ones with the washers, when you go to put the top on, it won't fit. It's like, it just won't snap in. Another thing I've learned while building in this case, use the AIO screws that they actually provide you. Crap. Yeah. Also, my way of installing the AIO radiator is a lot faster than taking that bracket off, putting that on, and then putting it back on and then screwing it back in. I'm saving time, but definitely a more difficult way to do it if you're new to building PCs. You get the cooler, DJ? What? Thanks for that info. Yeah, no problem, no problem, no problem. Crazy, no pump header. I already read that. I even went online to look at the motherboard. No pump header. So wow. Yeah, I know. I'm not lying about it, dude. You think I'm lying? I'm not that bad, am I? Never thought choosing a board would be so hard. Man. I'm thinking to go with one of those Gigabyte ice boards. Or just go with spend the money and go with that white crap. The white ASRock one. Not the camel one that you thought was weird. Just go with something you're going to be happy with. Don't put something in there that you're going to be like, meh. Because if you're like, meh, you're going to be like, meh, every day. And then you're not going to like it. And then you'll be right back over here saying, Ben, I can't do this. Just do it right the first time. That's what I always say. Do it the way you want it. Do it the right way. The way it's right for you. And then you can say, that's the way. Never mind, that's terrible. Don't do that. Gotta situate these EPS cables. Holy crap. Get it. There. Starting to look like a pretty cool looking gaming PC, wouldn't you say? Coming together. Right now, over me. Okay, going back to that whole peel thing. Everybody was talking about the cooler, thermal paste, putting this on a CPU without peeling the peel off the heatsink or your water block. This is what he's talking about. So this bad boy has a little peel here. It has a nice warning sticker on it. If you don't peel this little piece of plastic right here will ruin your thermals to the point where it's thermal throttling almost instantly. This little teeny tiny piece of plastic. The reason why it's there is to keep the copper clean, because it's clean out of the factory. And you want it clean going on the CPU. So it needs to be there to keep it clean. So it has to be there. And it also definitely does not want to be there when you are installing it onto your CPU. I'm gonna go ahead and drop some paste on the CPU. just add a little extra at the bottom there. That's all I need. Where the hot spot is. Under the bell. There's also on this one specifically another piece of plastic here that we want to remove before we deploy it. And then the last thing is we want to make sure we plug this bad boy in without getting thermal paste all over the cables. If you see me doing that, that is not intentional. Come on. There we go. And then we'll deal with the cables but that once we get this on there. But we have the peeled, the paste pasted. Now we just need to get this bad boy mounted. This one's kind of a pain in the butt. Because you'll think you have a bite, but you don't. There. Thought I had a bit, but I didn't. All right. There we go. It's kind of a workout there. But getting that to bite is a pain in the butt. The Carrera looks like a badass board, but it is actually good though. Yes, it's a good board. I also like the mesh for the front panel over the glass. Here in Florida, yeah, where it's 1,000 degrees every day in the summer, and the humidity is like 5,000%. So yeah, that would make sense. You'd want to probably put that mesh front panel. This case does have an optional mesh panel, is what he's talking about. So when you order it in the hardware kit, you'll have an optional mesh panel you can replace the glass panel with if you want to add more airflow, and you can mount fans to it, which is pretty cool. You also looked online, the motherboard specs, to find out why it did not have one. Not that I got... You are lying. Silly, I know. I actually, for the two... I know, I was just teasing you, don't worry. Ant-Man. I actually, for the two, removed the plastic on my 4060 when I got it. I did it the next day. Ah, you forgot to do that? Yeah, no. It happens. I mean, I try to get all the peels I can to make sure there's no plastic left behind. But I mean, even I can miss one. Sometimes they're in really weird places on new parts that I maybe never touched before. When you swing those fans towards the front, can the AIO mount vertical? No, it would only be, well, yes, but it would be limited to a 240 millimeter or 280, and I still don't recommend the vertical over the horizontal. Army vet. That feeling when you can't remember if you pulled the plastic off after finishing the build, and then take it apart to realize you did take it off in the first place. Yeah, that's why I always keep a archive can for the build, so I can go back and look. Oh, here's plastic. That I don't have to go back into the build. You dig through some rubbish and you're all good. All right. And last but not least, our adjustable RGB cable. Like I said, I'm going to get this tidied up here with some zip ties. I also want to get the lid on it so I can see where I gotta go with it.
Do.
There you go. If you want to see what I was doing, I was just cleaning up this zip tie or cable right here. This guy needed to be cleaned up a little bit. There was a lot of loose cable there, kind of just doing whatever the hell it wants, and I don't like that. I want it nice and clean. And there we go. Looks good, right? Put the lid on here. Where'd it go? Uh-oh. There we go. Looks even cooler now. Yeah. When I left my plastic on my AIO, I decided to frame it with thermal paste on it, on the plastic still. Then it stays on the glass. Dummy, look what you did. Or it says on the glass, states, dummy, look what you did. Haven't done it since. That's actually a good way to, remind yourself. Yes, I'll do that in the next time. Although I haven't personally done that yet. I've almost done it. I've placed it and was like, wait a second, and then took it right off, and I was like, uh-huh, and then had to repaste, but never fired it up with plastic still on there. It's one thing I have not done. I've literally done everything else you could mess up on, except for that. Everything else, you name it, I've done it. Bent CPU pins, done it. Bent socket pins, yep, done it. Actually, recently. Oops. Costly mistake. But you name it, I've done it. All right, so we've got our beautiful looking PC going here with our black and gray color scheme. The next thing we're going to drop in here, I guess, is our graphics card. And then we'll do a power supply. Then we get to fire this bad boy up. Almost there. We're at 1:30, so we're definitely going to be at that 2-hour mark. Why does every board seem to have mixed reviews? It's because of DDR5. It's not because of the board. It is literally because DDR5 is a new architecture, and it's not perfect. There's a lot of problems. So most of the time when somebody's giving a motherboard a bad review, 9 out of 10 times, probably because of the RAM they used. So then they replace the motherboard, and then somehow mysteriously it starts working on the new board, because we had that conversation about how boards are never the same. Even though it's the same exact model, no board is exactly the same. It's the same thing with CPUs, same thing with RAM, same thing with GPUs. Nothing is exactly the same. There's a percentage of margin for error on both sides, better or worse, in any manufacturing situation. The thermals weren't that bad. It's the weird part. Yeah, but you could tell something was off, right? The smell of plastic. That would hint. That would be a good hint. All right, guys. So today I'm going to show you the RTX 4080 Super by Gigabyte, which is the WindForce V2. WindForce. Oops. Does come with its very own crappy power supply connectors that we just immediately throw away. We also have a GPU bracket, which I will attempt to get installed. There's the other portion of the GPU bracket. I should have opened that up earlier. So this GPU bracket is a little bit different than most GPU brackets. How do I know which RAM is best for my system, if I need one? The RAM I had mentioned, the G.Skill 6000 CL30, limited to 96 gigabytes total, only 2 sticks. G.Skill FlareX or G.Skill Trident Z5 Neo or Neo RGB. That is the only RAM that I really truly test on tested and trust on DDR5. Truly. Okay, so this bracket does some weirdness. I forgot about this because it would have been nice to know when I put the motherboard in, because it would have saved me a step or two. I'm going to go through the weird process of installing this bracket just because it should be installed regardless. And this is one of those discrete brackets that I was talking about, Mr. Dawson, that 4090 that we want to see supported before it leaves. I'll show you how discrete these are. These are very, very hard to notice. What thread is this? This one's a little bit more unique because it's unique to Gigabyte. But still the same. I think it is actually a very good design by Gigabyte. Card gets an extra little bracket tied to it, but that extra bracket is what supports the back end weight of the card. And the 4080 Super and the RTX 4090 especially is one of the heavier cards out there, so 4090 is okay. Is it weird I'm not a fan of Gigabyte? No, it's not weird. I didn't used to be a fan of Gigabyte either. My biggest gripe or complaint with Gigabyte was their software. And this year they've gone through a complete overhaul, redid all of their software, and their BIOS as well. They redid a lot of their BIOS. They brought in the Control Center, which I thought was a lot easier, especially for people that are not, you know, new to PC. It makes it a lot easier to open up a single software suite like Asus Armory Crate or the Control Center or the MSI Center to manage their motherboard rather than opening up 18 different apps, which is what Gigabyte used to do. And I was not a big fan of that. Just made things more difficult, more complicated. That was one of the primary reasons. The other reason is, you know, I had a lot of failure rate with Gigabyte in the past, like old, like 10 years ago. Recently, they've done a lot better. And it's got to be white. Yeah, I do need discreet looking support bracket, just don't want to see it. Yeah, if they don't have a white one, we can always just spray paint it. So not a big deal, it's just a piece of metal. I've got white paint here. Alright, so now that that bracket is in, you'll see here, I'm going to drop the card into its socket. Of course, I'll remove this first, of course, and remove these peels that are on here, right? Forgot about these peels. I hope these are peels. What the H? This is definitely a peel. It should not be that difficult. Ah! There we go. Got the peels. Don't worry. We're all good. Here, take a look at the back of my neck for a second. Okay. that on the other side. There we go. There we go. The card is finally in there. Beast. Yeah, we could definitely get a white bracket. I wouldn't worry about that. Not difficult. All right. So one of the last things we got to do is our power cable. And one of the cool things about this card is it's right here. So if you had a really tight case, meaning the glass panel is really close to the side of the card here, and you mounted it in a normal horizontal position like this card, the RTX 4080 Super Wind Force, would be a good ideal card because the cable can come out the back here and not be immediately pressed up against the glass, which is usually the problem you have with the PCIe 5.0, which is the 16-pin power cables. And I have a specific cable here purchased for this build to match the other beautiful looking gray and black cables, which is a 16-pin 600 watt PCIe 5.0 cable that we're going to install. I'm going to bring the card, or the computer, I'm going to stand the tower up as I am doing now vertically, so that I can insert the cable a little easier, and then work some of these cable combs down just to clean it up. There we go. And then I'm also going to rotate it and send it through this slot here, up and over, like so. But the least amount of stress on this cable, the better. You don't want to stress that and cause the pins to like pull away from the actual connection and cause arcing, and that arcing is where all the problems are coming from, or stemming from. She's a beauty. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. She is very nice looking. What do you think of that? Looking like a gaming PC? Hell yeah! What build number is this? 146 or 147? Should have been 147. I put the wrong number on the stream, I'm sorry. This is 147. Last piece, guys. The last thing we gotta do. And then we can fire this thing up. And we can see what it looks like here in just a few minutes. Thermaltake. Tough Power GF3 1000 watt. We went with a 1000 watt because we wanted to give a little bit of wiggle room on the power supply. Not necessarily needed for the 4080 Super. Definitely not needed. But with the 1000 watt, he has room to go to 4090 if he wanted to. And this also has the PCIe 5.0 connection on it. So makes, you know, switching over to a 4090 super simple. Looking smooth. Thank you, Army Vet. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, some giant idiot. Your eyeballs are just melting. Pew, 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 pew. Okay. So we don't necessarily need all of these cables. Absolutely not. And I'm not going to for this build. Normally I would typically plug them all in, but in this case I'm going to keep it clean. Only 3? That's kind of weird. There's more. Or should I just plug them all in? Yeah, I should just plug them all in. The reason why is because I don't want them all lost. If he ever needs them, they'll be there. Maybe the ones I don't plug in as PCIe, since we're already on a 4080. The only direction you go there is up. Right? Where's my... Ah. What is a PCIe 5.0 like on the PCU? It's the same connection as the card. So the 12-volt high power connection there. It's the same as the connection on the card, Gary. Same exact. So both ends are the same. If you've seen the 16-pin connection on the RTX 40 series cards, that is the same thing. In fact, the cable I plugged in is going to plug directly into the power supply rather than it being an extension, because we want a direct connection from the power supply to the graphics card, which minimizes any failure point. There's only 2 possible failure points, and that is the connection on the card and the connection on the power supply. And with that much wattage on a single cable, we want to minimize that failure point. I ended up plugging in the PCIe cables anyway. That was dumb. For the sake of sanity. Definitely the wrong screwdriver. So you're like, what? Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely need a bracket for mine, LOL. It's gonna end up sagging bad. It's already sagged, but the bracket I think will help it from getting any worse. All right, power supply is installed. We just got to get everything plugged in here. We have our two, well, before we do that, let's get our big boy cable here for our GPU plugged in. Hey there, big boy. Got you plugged in. Alright, got that plugged in. Happy with it. Happy-ish. Now we're going to run our CPU cables up here to the top. Extensions. This is our EPS power. I know I'm far away from the mic, sorry. Get over here. This is EPS power. This is what's going to power the CPU itself. I don't know what to do here. I guess we go like that. Get some zip ties. And then this one is our 24 pin, which is powering our motherboard. This one's always the most awkward because it's a big one. I don't want to... I don't want to bend it too much. Give me those snips. Then the rest of these I'm just going to bundle up. They're all extra cables at this point. Already got the SATA power to the hub. That was before we did those big boy cables. Really no easy way to cable manage this that well, because there's just so many cables right now with the extras that we put in here, other than just do each one like its own individual box or compartment. The reason why I keep them in there is so they don't get lost. If he ever comes back and says, hey, I need cables for this, they'll be there. They will be there. Alright, so you can see how confident I am. I'm actually going to put this back panel on and screw it down. What do you guys think so far? Looking good? You guys like the build? I guess I screwed up with that USB-C cable. Okay, everything else looks good. Put the lid on and get this thing fired up. All right, Chance, are you here? Chance, you gotta let us know if you're here, man. We're ready and waiting. Yep. Yes! Chance, are you ready for us to push this power button? You tell us when to push this power button. We're ready. And we're waiting on you. I'm going to adjust one more camera move. You say, push that power button, I push that power button. Let's do it. All right, guys. Chance said it. He said, fire it up. So if it blows up, it's his fault. Not me. I'm not at fault. Everybody sees that, right? Okay, here we go. I hear that liquid flowing. We got one peel. Oh, it's doing something. We got a red light. That's never good. But it is doing some memory training. It is DDR5. So this process, what we call post power on self-test, does take a couple of times and a couple of cycles, and sometimes could take a couple of minutes. But by golly, we already posted. Look at that. CPU installed. New CPU installed. Press F1 or press yes to reset the FTPM. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Yeah. There we go. Get everything synced up to the rainbow. Looking great. Thank you, some giant idiot. Looks good. Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Chance. You can't really see the top, but you have RGB fans on the top as well. But it is clean. Very clean. Give it a little bit of a side view. You can kind of get a side angle on it, you know? So this glass is going to be rounded here, so you'll be able to see right through this. I didn't add the glass because the camera doesn't like to pick up the lights with the glass and the reflections very well. It has a problem with that. I know, one day I'll get a better camera and some better lighting. But why does Intel not do this silly stuff with DDR5? This is an AMD board. This is an AMD build. It fired right up perfectly. 12900 is probably the most stable, FYI. The 12th series, or 12th gen. 13th and 14th, less stable. And memory controllers, if you remember correctly, are on the CPU. There's something about the change between 12th to the 13th and 14th gen. But I could tell you, for a fact, Flux, Dawson, the Intel lineup does do this. It's just not as much. It does have the same problems with DDR5. If you put an AMD Expo kit that's not on the supported list on the motherboard or on an Intel build, it will do the exact same thing. But it seems AMD is more picky. Yes, it is. That is correct. You are correct on that statement. AMD is more picky about the RAM it's running. So there's not a whole lot we can do about that other than wait for it to mature. You know, we're just kind of stuck in this. DDR4, if you remember back when we were jumping from DDR3 to DDR4, had a similar issue. And people just don't remember it. I keep bringing it back up. We had weird issues with DDR4 as well. When we went from DDR3 to DDR4, it took almost a full generation of CPUs and motherboards, I think 2 in some case, before they got it right. And then they went back and fixed everything with BIOS updates. And then it seemed like everything was perfect. You know, you very rarely have DDR4 problems after like year 1 or 2. But there she is. She's built and she's posted to the BIOS. So next we have to install Windows. We have to do the BIOS update. We have to set the Expo profile for the RAM. We have to play around with the fan curve with the Gigabyte. get the control center installed, do all the drivers, if I already said that. I do change a couple of the settings in Windows, but it's more of the power settings. With AMD, I probably won't adjust the power settings after I read what I read troubleshooting Mr. Dawson's PC, but you know, Microsoft is doing some weird things with their power plans. That's one thing that everybody should be aware of as well. That's probably another video I should make talking about that. I wanted to make and I didn't do it yet. But here it is. We're built. That's step one. Step two, we got to get all the software stuff done. And then step three is shipping. So should have it shipped out here probably no later than the next couple days. So you should receive some tracking information in an email with all the if we're shipping this one, right? I think we're shipping it. I'm pretty sure we're shipping it because I have local orders as well here. Thanks for building it. No problem. It was my pleasure. It turned out absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, we're also going to do a battle testing on it as well, is what we call it, battle tested, where we will run it through quite a few different benchmarks and make sure its performance is where it should be, and also the temperatures are where it should be as well with the current hardware configuration that we have in here. So we'll make sure that we root out any lemons, if there are any, because lemons could be parts that post and then when under stress or under load give us problems. And if that's the case, then we take care of it before we ship it, and that's how we root those problems out. So when you receive it, you don't have any of those weird problems. Does the GPU not light up where it says GeForce? I don't think it does. Not on this one. It's the WindForce. Yeah, no, there's no wiring to it, so there's no RGB on that. It's all just plastic. Plastic and metal. That's plastic. Plastic shroud. No GeForce RGBs. I'm sorry. We would have had to go for the card that was, I think, 200 more to get RGB on there. Through the Gigabyte lineup, it was like $200 more. Kind of seemed ridiculous when we could get the same card performance for $200 less. Just no RGB there. All right, guys. Next build stream. Let's talk about that real quick. I've got a build for a Ross who's looking forward to a build, and then another one. So we've got 3 more builds to do this week. I'm going to try to fit them in, try to catch up on Thursday with another build stream. That's kind of our normal weekly day to stream, or I try to stream that day. And so far it's been Tuesday and Saturdays. But if not, then we'll stream on Saturday for sure. So I'll try to squeeze in a stream on Saturday. But if not, then it might just be Thursday or Friday. So Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Thursday for sure we're going to stream. Friday, I don't think so. And Saturday I'll try to stream as well, but it won't be until the evening. But thanks again, everybody, for joining us. You like it. You love the case. I know you love it. Clean build. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining, everybody, and hanging out. I appreciate every one of you. And Dawson, I'll be in touch regarding your PC here probably tomorrow, towards the end of the day. Hopefully that's when I'll have my answer. And everybody else, happy building. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night, guys.